and when I can implement them. Ooh.
Oh, well, go ahead and start with that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Actually, before we start, can I get a contextual? Uh, I dive blank into these things because that's how I brainstorm best.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Well, a week or so ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I came up with this idea that I guess it was when AIU got. Oh, hold on, guys. I got my sound on the other channel. Just a second.
no, you're
All
good.
right. AIU got kicked off of YouTube. I said, well, we need a backup system for YouTubers that get kicked off of YouTube or their content is too controversial for the terms of service. Maybe we could host it for them or at least provide a listing service so their fans could get to their YouTube video. And the other part that is even more interesting to me that I was working on longer and have developed some code in BASIC to do, but not over the internet, was a research database, kind of like they have in academia, where somebody posts an article, then maybe somebody else rates it, then somebody else critiques it, and then the database, tracks the ratings, tracks the critiques. So you could look up, say, on the my go-to example is the wage gap. The CONSAD report would be a grade A because it's a study. It's a study that hasn't been debunked, but there could still be the critique of it and a list of people that have critiqued the study and then an overall rating. And when you as a YouTuber are putting together your video, you can do, hey, I want to do what's the latest on the wage gap. CONSAD would probably be there, but it's a 2012, or no, it's a 2008 study, I think. And then, if anything was more current than that, that was an A rating also, then that would come up. And if you didn't find the A rating, then you'd maybe go to the B rating. That kind of idea of having a really good, quick way of finding the material you want. And once you find the material that you want, you simply click on it and say, I'm going to add this, I'm going to skip that, I'm going to skip that, I want to add this to my video project. And then it creates the bibliography page for you. And you just link your bibliography page that the system created to you to your video, and boom, you're done.
That's pretty fucking handy. So basically, it's a relational database that is searchable.
Yes, because one of the hard things about Google and YouTube is the search is crap. You get so much garbage you can't isolate it. Because when you search on the wage gap, you may only want a Salon article or a Jezebel article to show how stupid feminism is about the truth. So you would search first on, the studies, make sure that you got that right. You got your information squared away. You know what the criticisms are, so you're going into this thing like a scholar. And then now you're ready to go back and do your second search, and instead of doing scientific studies or government statistics, now you go back and do your study and you do like, I want to see blog entries and newspaper articles in the last month. And you can really narrow your work down. I don't know if that answered your question, Jay, but
No, it's fine. No, that actually is better than what I was asking about. Because yeah, my Google Foo is shit.
Can I make two comments?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Problem solving is kind of my shtick. I am just really fucking good at it. And there are two big things that stand in the way of what you want. The first is that YouTube is successful in the way that it is because of its high availability server clusters. There's no one out there yet who has distributed clusters of a comparable scale. That doesn't mean it can't be done. It would be very easy to, for example, put an Amazon virtual machine in 4 places in the US 3 in India, 1 in Saudi Arabia, 6 in Europe, 2 in South America. I mean, you could make the thing, but it would be very expensive. And for it to break even, you would have to have basically the same advertising agreement that YouTube has. And YouTube already has all the advertisers.
Right.
I don't mean to be such a downer. I'm just merely pointing out the pitfalls that lie ahead on, especially on the tech side. Yeah, and the second thing is a database of this sort is actually kind of dangerous because let's say I'm doing research and I get a JSTOR article at the end of my following the links, right?
Yeah.
And I pay for that JSTOR article and I share it with y'all. Technically, it's legal, but if someone else does the same, we're gonna get hit and uploads it. We have 2 JSTOR articles on the thing. We're gonna get Aaron Schwartz.
Hey, let me take one at a time. The first one is actually hosting videos. We've everybody on the tech team, I think, agrees that nobody wants to take videos off of YouTube. We're only talking about the videos that get taken down, and we don't think that we will have the money or funds to host them. So it may be up to the, we'll just use AIU as the example. It may be up to AIU to get his own web hosting service that could handle the amount of video traffic he would expect for his channel. And that may be all that we can do as far as actually streaming the video. But we certainly could do the listing parts of it. And another thing that some people want to do, but I think it's kind of ways down the line, is have an actual comment section that is useful for research purposes. But I don't want to cover that. That's been covered in the past video that we've done. And
no, just you use the basic principle behind Reddit, but you modify it for search and research purposes. It's actually a great idea. I love it. I can visualize it very well.
Yeah, and I don't know anybody that's come up with a good, video hosting thing, and I think that's actually a kind of a benefit to us because really I think YouTube is fine. It's doing a marvelous service as far as the streaming part, and we just need to build a separate platform that points people to YouTube. The YouTubers get their revenue for people landing on their videos. We're just going to try to make it easier for people to find the content that they want to find, if that makes sense.
Of course. And I completely agree, and I'll stop stomping all over you, Frozen, in just a second. There's one other problem. Even a hosting service will run into issues because bandwidth is really expensive these days. I actually think this is a problem that has to be tackled with a move of the market, which means, for the most part, we need to we need to increase and show demand for free speech availability in video hosting services and the internet in general.
So you're talking about the... Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say, I was planning on doing this anyway, going to basically maybe using other services for specific content, or just using another service as a backup one for most of my shit. There's a ton of different ways you could do it, and everyone can do their own thing. No one way better than the other way. It's figure it out on your own, unfortunately.
That is one thing that most of us have in common. We're all very much individualists. What has Atheist is Unstoppable is Stoppable done in the last week?
I have no idea. I don't keep up with him. I just know that he was banned, and then there was a big stream. I forget whose channel it was on. I think it was on Kraut's channel, actually.
That man
And
is the center of the Z list. It's amazing.
yeah.
He knows everyone.
Right. And I was outraged because I'm like, you know what? We at least ought to build the technology, even if we don't have the server power, at least the skeleton, everything that we need to migrate people that get kicked off of social media platforms. And, our first target would be people that get kicked off of YouTube or just individual videos that are, would violate their terms of service.
What if instead of, let's look at this at a different angle, okay? What if we developed, I'm getting an echo, I'm sorry.
It might be me. Let me turn
I
it down.
apologize.
Go ahead.
That sounds better. A tiny bit, whatever. Perhaps I'm looking at this at the wrong angle. Perhaps what we need is a system that can upload and process videos like YouTube does to a CDN, content distribution network, which can be very cheap to set up if you know what you're doing, and have that separate. But the general idea here is give people a solid example of what companies they can go to and how they can set up a separate content delivery system for their videos, and then layer the top of it with a video player that handles video scaling the way YouTube does.
See,
I could write something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing something like this, but not exactly that. I just wanted to have a convenience method to upload to multiple places at the same time.
Right,
So
and
I was gonna make a multiple uploader. The problem with that was basically the one-to-many portion. I don't want it to just upload the same video over and over and over again. I'd actually want it to upload to somewhere else that can do it much faster. So I only have to actually upload it once, and then just it just force feeds it to wherever I want it to go. Then fills in all the tags and everything else you would need. So we're kind of converging on the same thing, but not the exact same thing. So it's figuring out how to go about it and which way would work for more people, I think.
Right. There's kind of multiple forks. Everybody's got a favorite kind of thing that interests them here. And I think that we can do that. We have to have probably more volunteers. I'm going to have additional membership drive efforts. And I think if we categorize people into kind of camps of what they're interested in and bring those technologies online as they're available, we'll be fine if we have an umbrella kind of an umbrella listing service.
You know what? Instead of what if, okay, the individualist idea, I can basically show people step by step how to have everything they need to produce a YouTube for one person, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Sure.
We put that in a how-to somewhere for people to Google, or we make a video presenting about it. And anyone that does that, we ask them to show their membership by contributing bandwidth and hard drive space to a larger centralized content delivery network, well, decentralized content delivery network.
Right. So part of the price of membership is being able, perhaps, we're just kind of tossing this out as an idea.
I'm not saying it's the cost of membership. I'm more saying that anyone who provides that also gains access to much better resources from it.
Yeah.
There's definitely a God, I can never remember words when I want to. In game theory, this is a win.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the video, and I'll share the screen of it real quick here.
I apologize that my memory is so shit. I just reset constantly.
Okay. Go ahead and chat while or work. Talk to me while I try to find this thing.
God. Oh.
You're a hacker. You're a hacker, Jay.
No, not really. I program. It doesn't mean I do hacking.
No,
So,
hacking is eccentric programming. That's all it is.
oh, then I do plenty of that shit. Believe me.
Yeah. So HTML5, a JavaScript 6 compiler, and a graphics designer that we can throw a couple $100 at, right?
For what exactly? Have it
Uh,
just be like all these things, and then expect them to be like, "Yeah, bitch, go for it."
an HTML5 video player.
That's a
Uh,
piece of piss.
it's
That's
not
so.
it's not very hard to build.
No, it's wicked easy. It's one of the things that they teach college students how to do.
Right, and then the only things we need to actually add are bandwidth scaling, which is handled on the upload and processing side,
Mm-hmm.
and then keeping track of the data streaming so things don't go out of sync because video can be finicky.
Yeah, I don't deal with network code at all, so
I do. Don't worry about that.
Okay, cool. Because like, yeah, that's the one thing I fucking hate dealing with. It's like you either have to specialize in it or you don't. At least for most people, I get dicked around with that quite a bit. But yeah, why would you want to go with Java 6 and not something else?
Because then we can run it on every modern cell phone and modern browser in the world.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I'm going to screen share here for a second. This is fuzzy as shit, so you're going to have to imagine what I'm talking about. Oh, I forgot to do the screen share part.
It's okay, my ass used to be fuzzy as shit one time, and I took care of that, fam.
Where are you, son of a bitch? Maybe it's this one. All right, so maybe I can zoom in here. Are you guys seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What you're seeing here is basically 4 horizontal rows of different types of content or feeds of different content. And the first one I say or suggest would be basically sponsored, so that people that work on the are members and contribute, and whether it's they're doing data entry, or maybe if they're doing sharing their hard drive space for your distributive network, Sevi, then maybe they get some advertising credits to be up here in the top bar. And I just worked it down, so in the next group is a group listing, because I'm a member of a bunch of Skype groups, a bunch of Discord groups, and people are giving me links to information all the time. Well, the way I've envisioned this is that they come through all on this group. All the groups that I'm assigned to, it comes through, and I only have to see it once. And if I click on this link, it will tell me maybe who everybody recommended that to me. And then the next one down is my friends, who individual friends that have said, look at this. And the bottom one is the subscribe. So if I subscribe to a channel, or even if it's not a video channel, if it was like somebody on the rationalist.org, like Nicholas, his articles would show up here in my personal. And that was kind of the basic idea of it. But at some level, I want to have this thing where people that are contributing, however they are contributing, they get some kind of sponsorship, as if or advertising credit, just like a regular advertiser would, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's actually a pretty good benefit. Maybe not the only benefit, but it's still a really good one.
Yeah, I talked about different things, but Layman said, like, once we start dealing with actual cash, then we're talking about a whole new level of fucking technical and legal expertise. And I think he's right.
Yeah, I don't think any of us here prepared for that right now,
Yeah,
or even trained that way.
yeah.
Well, I can only speak for me though.
Actually, we have a couple financiers
Oh,
in the community, but we're not gonna. I shouldn't go into that yet because I mean, okay, there's a term that I want y'all to know, and it's algamics or agalmics. I can't remember. It's such a, anyway. It's non-scarce goods, right? So you've got commodities, metals, foods. These are commodities. They're scarce. There's a
Yeah,
limited amount of them every year. Uh, and then there's non-scarce goods. Anything you can download is a non-scarce good.
yep,
Anything you can give to another person without a tax being required on it is technically a non-scarce good. Like giving your time to someone,
right.
that's an algamic action, right?
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
So I'm trying to stick in that region, and in that region, I forgot what I was saying because I'm high.
I'm pretty
Well,
high
we're
too.
talking about advertising credits,
Yes,
basically.
outro videos and the like uh, actually allow these people to be in. Uh, yeah, just give them straight advertising credit.
Right.
You know, I be as homely and kind as possible about it. In that, I almost want to say in that '50s way before Madison Street got so huge. Because I don't know, reading out radio shoutouts is pretty awesome. It's
Yeah.
personal touch, you know?
Well, we could even make it like kind of like a listing where it's like it's kind of like, okay, these are the people we want to give shout outs to. These are the people who are available to do it, and then just kind of let them pick their own or whatever, kind of one to one it, or however that works out. There's many
Right.
ways you can go about this.
Yeah, it could be done a little bunch of different ways. Like Sevi says, it could be, you have to watch somebody else's video, limited to a 5 second advertisement, or maybe a
Like 8
15 second,
seconds.
yeah, before they get to the content that they wanted. We could do that, but those are
Okay.
big decisions that we have to make as a big group.
Of course. I'm
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
actually just throwing out extended ideas to
Yeah, yeah.
show everyone how deep this goes in just the social manner.
But what I do think is what we want to do is we want to put some kind of a point system in place so that somebody is going to get to use up all their points, whether they get it over a certain period of time, but eventually they're going to get the number of impressions that they understood they were going to get when they contributed their work.
Of course. And now there's a number that's difficult to calculate again. YouTube, it's easier, but like they've only just started getting good stats off Vimeo, for example.
You know, yeah, I don't know what's going to be the right number. Somebody that probably is, trained in that and familiar with advertising, what the advertising rates are, could come up with a fair point system, and maybe even somebody that's got, trained in statistics or whatever. I
I'm
don't
trained in
know.
statistics.
Oh, well, there you go. You could be part of that too.
It's just everywhere.
No,
Yeah.
I really am. I mean, I've been ignoring the graduations of many universities for many years.
Yeah, the one thing that, because I know you haven't heard anything about this, Sevi, is that definitely whatever code that we come up with, we want it to be all open source.
Of course, no,
Right.
that's how I live.
Yeah, and the actual entries in the database, I kind of think that I
Creative Commons unless otherwise specified.
Yeah, exactly. We might require that.
There's actually a GPL for documentation too.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't worked that out, but I do think that we're going to have that. You entered it, but that you are going to copy left it.
You are copylefting this item by submitting to this site. You are agreeing to the terms and agreements of the
Right.
Creative Commons 2.0 non-attribution, whatever the fuck that other one is.
Whatever, yeah, it gets to, and then and our promise is your advertising credits are good with us, basically, or points, so hopefully that everybody will get something out of it, and the information will be available to the public. That was my suggestion, that the database be open to the public, searchable by the public, but only people that have been vetted and screened get to put in the entries.
You're gonna have to have you're gonna have to have a checkbox that says this document is not, or this document is previously copyrighted by, and provide the source so that I can steal JSTOR and finish what Aaron Schwartz started. You laugh. I'm serious.
Well, I'm not familiar with that story. So what is that story?
Okay, so Aaron Schwartz is the guy who made Reddit, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? He wrote the original Reddit code. Everyone loved him. He was this sweet, humble Jewish kid. And he had a lot of little pet projects, as hackers do. One of his pet projects was he had turned the entire MIT network into a system to download every article on JSTOR so he could upload them for free download on torrent networks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I think I remember the story.
He made a small flaw in his setup, and he choked out MIT's network. Now, this is something that happens to MIT all the time because it's fucking MIT.
Yeah.
So they have procedures in place and all that shit. And Aaron comes around and says, yeah, I was doing this. And then he was arrested by the FBI because it was a federal crime over state lines.
Right. Yeah, for what I've been suggesting is that as a group, and for research purposes, if this is legal, I don't know that it's legal, the articles that we get our hands on, we put in our database, PDF or whatever, but that will not be accessible by anybody but people that are actual members, and to the extent that we can under the law, because we don't want to get people in trouble.
Right. Essentially, you would have to set up a shadow, a shadow network based on permissions.
Right, but we would definitely have the title of the article, the names of the authors, the date of publication, where it's publicated, the URL if it's available. You know what I'm saying? So
how about the abstract?
Yeah.
That way we look like a fucking data site.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's no reason not to have the abstract, because I think that those are not, that they allow that, but if we have to, we would probably leave.
We just have to. We just have to prove ownership, and that's easy enough to do by attaching a user to the article. In that case.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically the idea, and where we are in sort of the technological side of this is, kind of categorizing people's skills, and I put a link to the document. I don't know if you see that.
Oh, the one
Shit.
I see it.
The
I don't see.
Etherpad thing, yeah.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Let me.
Can you drop it
dropped
inside chat?
Yeah, I'm going to do it again.
Thank you. So,
So
I don't like to toot my own horn,
Yes, you do. Come on,
but don't make fun of my big clit.
Why would I? It's beautiful, darling.
Oh,
so in the upper
shit.
right-hand
This
corner,
is
you can.
kind of chaotic at the moment. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see. Okay, aside from Real Raven, I can wipe the floor.
Oh, well, good. Good, because
Yeah, Real Raven has more. He has aged experience, but he is a little bit behind on modern tech. It's not a problem that would stick around, though. He could easily catch up. I have great faith in him.
right, and my technical skills are basically as a part-time hobbyist that has put together a couple of independent desktop platforms. So, you know, I don't have the skills to do this thing.
No worries.
We're starting to get the
trying
list
to
of
do
people.
it for you because. And has anyone got a hold of Kraut? Because Kraut wanted this too.
I have sent him this information, but I just think
He's been
I think he
very
wants to see
emotional.
it further along before he jumps in, but I haven't heard back from him. Honestly,
Right.
he might not even see.
He's been very difficult to reach, much like
Yeah.
me.
Nicholas Goroff took a look at this, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to send this out to, I think he said Sargon and somebody else, but I think what we need to do to really attract a crowd and Sargon and that group is have something to show them, have something that they get to play around with on their system. And Steel and Fire and I are going to try to do. I'm not sure what part she wants to do. I think I want to kind of do the research database entry part of it, and at least show that. And we're going to try to do that not this week, but the coming week, and just as a testing thing. But we've got so many things, like you'll see in this document, to work out. Up above it, we've got tools needed, different kind of suggestions, hosting. Where are we going to host this thing? I've been saying, it'd be nice to have.
No, see, Amazon. They give you 750 free gigs of data transfer to set up.
Okay.
And it's actually remarkably affordable. Data and disk space costs comes out to about $40 a month, and that's after you have to move all your audience there. It'll last you 2-3 months, that free data.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You put your data there, you put your website on some small free service, or next to free.
Yep.
You get a domain name, and you use the CDN to provide all your data, all your videos. That way your website doesn't cost $1 billion a month.
Right. And the other thing that we're trying to get, all right, so you just add that to this document, Sevi, when you have time, all your suggestions, and down here towards the bottom are the times that you're available for meetings. Let me put that in here. And we'll just have these tech meetings, try to keep them as short as possible, but, we don't have any dictator, and we don't really have a method for selecting a project lead at this time, but at some point, that's going to become crucial.
I'm going to slowly take over, don't worry.
So,
No, I mean, project management is one of the many things I've done in my illustrious life.
yeah.
Uh, Development is my love, my joy. So all of this is right up my alley. And I think my health, if my health comes back, I'll have like a good month or two where I can, crank stuff like this out.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Let's see. I'm trying to remember all the shit that I know without making it like an essay. It's like, how much shit have I worked on since forever? All right, no, let's just keep it short and sweet.
Yeah,
Let's
I just
I'm just,
basically, if I could do simple programs, but I can't do high tech shit. I could help out maybe, but database design, yeah, I can do that. But
you realize I'm not going okay.
you're not going.
In some cases, I'll be, serious, but in other places, I'm gonna be a total smartass in this document.
Okay.
Just letting you
Nothing I
know.
can do about it.
Let's make
There we go.
some.
So I think that basically I've covered everything. Raven Raven wants me to, and I've been working on it, setting up a little wiki to help document where we are in the project. I don't know if that's going to be useful, but I'm going to
No,
try to.
I'll set up a GitHub project for us. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, do you know what GitHub is? Because
Yes.
you would love GitHub because GitHub is the code version of what you want to do.
Yep. Yeah, I'm familiar with GitHub. I run Linux and have to go there to get some shit to work that wasn't working. So yeah.
You run Linux? I love you.
No, I
Um,
I don't like putting
what is
spyware
this?
10 on my computers. I mean Windows 10.
Okay, and all right, open source. I'm not adding any users at this time. Create a new repository. Um, uh, let's do this. There's
One of the things that come up while you guys are thinking, you know, this idea that what's going to be the front end. I mean, Anders suggested Wikipedia, but a wiki, and I'm like, the problem with the wiki is if people start editing pages. I mean, the fucking format's going to be different unless you got an editor going behind them, cleaning up everything all the time. It's so much easier just to pull information from a database and populate a page without you know everybody and their dog having access to screwing up the page. And then they talk about having a content management system, and I don't know why that would be easier. I mean, I guess if, I don't know why we wouldn't write it from scratch, but maybe I don't understand how hard these things are. But
no
one of the
worries.
suggestions was,
Look, I've just made a shit ton of stuff for us, and as soon as I finish making it slightly more presentable by typing a few things, you're going to be really happy with the tools we have just by using GitHub. We don't
cool.
have to have code for it. It's just awesome. Uh,
Yeah,
sorry,
that would.
I can't. I'm still getting used to typing and talking at the same time. That's something I'm not the best at.
Oh,
That's why I'm
I
just like
can't
in the
multitask
zone.
at all. So unless there's more, I'm going to go ahead and close these this hangout.
No, I think this was actually a little bit productive. I kind of got caught up on some shit, and we kind of got synergized. It's fucking great.
Yeah. Any other questions then, Sevi or Jay?
Not right now. I'm just kind of focusing on what you've got here in this list. It's actually like pretty sweet.
Yeah. So just add whatever you want to that, and then next week when I get figured out what I'm going to try to have 2 different meetings at 2 different times if necessary, so that at least one of us can go back and forth between the meetings and kind of describe what happened between the 2, because we got the Euros and we got the Aussies, and just try to have 2 time or meetings, so everybody can have some vocal time. And then we'll just do that next week. We'll do another tech meeting next week at some time, and hopefully you guys will be there.
Yeah, I want to stay active on this because, fuck, it's just some good ideas being exchanged, and the only way to get in on them is by being there.
Yeah, and I think as soon as we can figure out a way to reward people that are putting in a lot of time on this project in the advertising credits. So if you guys got a good idea how everybody could agree on how much that advertising credit would be, that would be good. All right. So thanks everybody for coming and in the stream and on the chat, and we'll talk to you sometime next week.